Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com.
And I'm Emily.
Emily and I are here today to talk about the women's 2023 Salomon QST Stella 106. There's a lot going on in that title.
That's a lot.
But it's an awesome ski. If you watch our channel, if you're familiar with our channel and you watch all our videos, you probably saw the men's QST 106 review earlier this season. Essentially, these two skis get the same exact changes. That's the easiest way to think about it. Within the QST line, Salomon basically keeps the same exact construction and shape across men's and women's, which I think is great.
Yeah.
So we won't go super in-depth on the changes to the construction and the shape. We'll just do a quick refresher, and then we'll get Emily's take. As you know, you already heard from Bob and I what we think, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to hear from Emily from a female perspective. So here's the ski itself. We'll start with shape. That's kind of fun. 106 underfoot. You know, this is definitely a free ride ski. Soft snow oriented free ride ski. One of the things Salomon did for this season is increase the rocker profile just a little bit. It's actually not that much of a difference on the 106. We see a much bigger difference on the 98. But we do see much more early taper in the shovel of the ski, so more of a spoony finish to the shovel of the ski, and that is true in the tail as well. So lots more early taper in this ski than the outgoing 106, but I'd say overall the theme is still the same. Rocker, camber, rocker, pretty similar profile. And then construction is pretty similar too. We do get a few updated changes to this ski, and basically everything Salomon's doing to these new QST skis we saw for the first time with the 22 QST blank and QST 98. So now we're seeing all this stuff kind of trickle into the rest of the line across men's and women's. So full poplar wood core. We get Salomon's CFX fiber, so it's a weave of carbon and flax. Does a really good job of kind of mixing the energy of carbon with the vibration damping of flax. And then one of the kind of key changes for these new skis is this double sidewall, which is a nice snazzy pink on the Stella 106. So because they're kind of shortening the effective edge by increasing this taper, they kind of wanted to strengthen the ski, and they did that by adding that second layer of dense ABS material. Last thing I'll say about construction is we get cork in the tips and tails. Salomon's got a cool name for it, cork damplifier. So that's about it. If you want to get more nitty-gritty details on the construction and shape, you can go back and watch the men's QST 106 review. I think we went a little more in-depth than that. But for the rest of this video, Emily, I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
I know you had the opportunity to take these out to Big Sky.
I did.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to go with her. So we don't have any footage of that. Wish we did. We do have some footage of you kind of just ripping around at Sugarbush on these skis.
Yep.
So, gosh, why don't you just start with a little bit about your trip out west?
Yeah.
And your first thoughts of these skis.
Yeah, so I just recently got back from Big Sky, Montana, where I went out for the Junior Freeride Championships for the IFSA Junior Freeride Series.
Coaching. You're not a junior athlete.
Correct. Coaching. Gets mixed up sometimes, but, you know, it's neither here nor there. But
I altered my birth certificate.
It's actually come
Turns
up
out I can win the
several times, you know. But so I was lucky enough to take these with me, and that I was psyched about because the other time that I skied these, this model was at Sugarbush with you.
Yep.
And that was, you know, it was great to get to ski around. It was a little bit softer snow that day. We were skiing around a lot of groomers and, you know, fast-paced trails, and that was super fun, and I had a great time on them. But I think, and I knew that bringing them out west and putting them in that type of terrain, it would really highlight these skis.
You don't really get a full sense of its personality just ripping around groomers at Sugarbush.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with
definitely not
groomers at Sugarbush.
It was very fun, but
it is important to get to ski into soft snow, off-piste terrain.
Right, and I knew going into my trip that it would really highlight these skis for what I knew they were capable of. That said, I have been skiing on the Stellas for a few years now. I'm a little biased they're definitely one of my favorite skis.
That's okay. You can speak directly to the change.
Yeah, and you know, this year or 2023 model, I think there are definitely some upgrades to the shape and the construction, but Salomon did a wonderful job of still keeping them the way that they've always been and how they've skied, which I've loved. So nothing major changed as far as performance, just some really great upgrades to, like I said, the profile and shape. So bringing these out to Montana, the conditions were pretty ideal for a 106 underfoot ski. We'd gotten some fresh snow, so I had been on actually another pair of skis that had a lot more metal in them.
Yep.
And then switching over to these, I was very happy on these. As we've talked about with the 98s, the full poplar wood and the CFX blend really just does a great job at making these skis soft and playful and maneuverable, but also very stable underfoot. I feel very confident bringing them up to speed. So they're just all around, I feel, for a 106 underfoot, a really fun and lively ski. Really responsive. I felt like I could, you know, ski a lot of the wider open terrain in fresh, deeper snow, but then getting onto some more variable terrain with, you know, anywhere from chopped up crud to just corduroy. I mean, it just really can handle everything. And I can't always say that for skis that are a bit wider.
And with that shape.
Yeah, and the shape as well. So, I mean, I had a blast. I felt like, you know, they were just really playful, but also really stable and, yeah, an all-around great ski and another model from the QST line that I just really love.
Now, and I think you mentioned that you had them in like a 10-inch day.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they float better than their width would indicate?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Not to ask a leading question, and I know I kind of did, but that's something that I've always found, or specifically with this new model.
Yeah.
And we first experienced it with the blank, because they made the blank way narrower than the QST 118, and everyone was super concerned that they took away a bunch of float. There's this tiny little rise right at the end of the ski, and I feel like that does like a really good job of keeping the ski planing on top of the snow surface.
Absolutely.
And then you also get this like fun, like bouncy feel.
Yeah.
Which is just, like you were saying, super playful and just like really rewarding in deep snow.
Yeah.
You know, you might think that within the QST line, skiing powder, you need to go all the way to the blank, but it does really well.
It really does. So, you know, having the chance to ski them, you know, at Sugarbush that day on the East Coast, and then bringing them to Montana, just getting a little bit of everything as far as terrain and conditions. Yeah, these remain one of my favorite skis, especially for how I like to ski. I mean, I like to ski, you know, moguls and trees, and I wouldn't say that's where these are highlighted, but they can handle it, which, you know, a 106 that can be an all-around ski is a pleasure.
No, I'm glad you called it an all-around ski. That kind of confirms my thoughts about this ski too. And it was something that I was a little bit concerned about when they changed it to this shape. And I don't even recall if we had this conversation with the review that Bob and I did, but I have always thought of, and really like in regards to the previous 106 or both previous 106s, I think this is the third version now.
Yep.
Right?
I think so, yeah.
Thanks for confirming that. I've always thought it was one of the most well-rounded skis in its category.
Absolutely.
Like, it's playful and maneuverable, but there's also some strength and stability to it.
Definitely.
So it's really interesting that they like updated the shape, gave it this much more drastic taper, and you know, you look at it, and I feel like this will happen in ski shops next year. Like, people will go to a ski wall and be like, well, that's not going to feel strong. But they really have done a good job of retaining strength underfoot.
Yep.
So you don't feel like, it's not like the ski is going to wash out when you don't want it to.
Right.
Like it has like a stout, strong feel that is often lost on skis of this shape.
Right.
So really representative of like the capabilities of ski manufacturing
Yeah.
now, and like this is truly a modern free ride ski. Just incredible what they can make it do.
Yeah, and it's not just limited to what you would assume looking at it. It's not just limited to, you know, those deep days.
Right.
So
Sounds like it worked great at Big Sky.
it did. It definitely did.
Bob and I were just in Alta. It happened to work right there. We weren't on the Stella color. We were on the men's 106 with Salomon. Like I said, men's and women's almost doesn't really matter. You just pick the color and length that you want.
This is a pretty fun color. So
It is. No, I'd be psyched. I don't know if this one goes all the way up to mid 180s or I could ski a 170. What is this? 173?
Yep.
Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm in.
And
no,
with an 18-meter turning radius.
No,
which
it's just it's fun. It's just a
Yeah.
great ski. Works really well in that West Coast more open terrain.
Yep.
But then we had it here in Stowe. We had it at Sugar Bush. Over here in the east, it feels a little bit more like a powder ski to me.
Definitely.
Where out west, it could easily be like a daily driver.
Yep.
I could see you skiing this every day
Yep.
out west.
It
You're
did.
nodding because you have for years. So I'm not like coming up with something
Well,
refreshing and new.
Just confirming it, but
Perfect.
yep, big fan. Great.
So that's
ski.
it. That's QST Stella 106. Emily, anything you want to leave them with?
Just give them a try if you can. Speaking to the QST line in general, they're just a really intuitive ski.
Yep.
And they're just a blast.
Do you want to take this opportunity to publicly apologize to Salomon for core-shotting their skis?
Yes. Now that you've turned it
I'm
around and revealed it, there's some rocks in Big Sky.
I already assured Emily that Salomon won't mind. She's new to this. No big deal.
It's inevitable.
It just means you were properly testing them if you skied them over some rocks.
That's right.
Yep. So that's it. Let us know if you have any questions. If you do, I will relay them to Emily so you get the answer from a female perspective. I guess if you specifically want it from a male perspective, you can let me know. But I think it's awesome having Emily in these reviews. So let us know, and we'll get your response from Emily. And yeah, we'll see you guys out there on the slopes.
See ya.